The Jewish value that really speaks to me is hodea, deep sense of gratitude for family, friends, community, and the state of Israel.
Most of us are guided by tikkun olam to repair the world, but the Jewish value that influences me to act is the fifth commandment: honor your mother and father. My parents set the example for my sisters and me of volunteering our time and of philanthropy. By continuing those traditions, I honor my mother and father.
The Jewish value that inspires me the most is the value of B'Tselem Elohim, that each one of us is created in God's image. Because of that, we should not only be accepted and respected for who we are, but that we should also be celebrated. All of the differences that we bring are just learning opportunities for ourselves and others.
I know that it has become cliche for a lot of folks, but the Jewish value that has influenced my life most has always been tikkun olam. That's what I was raised with in my suburban New Jersey upbringing. It is a part of me. It's also physically a part of me. It's right here on my arm. And just this idea that we are always supposed to be challenging ourselves to use our voices, to leverage our privilege, to make a difference for others in the world, that guides me every day. And it really is excitement that I get to jump out of bed each day and embrace that.
Tikkun olam, for sure, which is the idea of repairing the world. Through my work with HFLA, really being able to help people regain dignity and really help people out of difficult situations has been a real passion of mine.
My most meaningful serious experience is going to Israel with my mom that I will never forget. And definitely at the Kotel was very special and meaningful and loving and closer to Hashem.
The Jewish values or teachings that have guided my work are really teachings that I've learned from my parents. Their honesty, their integrity, their learning, their hard work. Those are core Jewish values that I've really used throughout my career, both modeling myself in the community and with my clients.
B'Tselem Elohim, which means being made in the likeness of God, and we are all made in the likeness of God. And so all of our voices and all of our wisdom are important and needs to be listened to and thought about. Recently, I've been thinking a lot about the concept of anava, which means humility. And it's something that really has to come from deep introspection and reflection, understanding your weaknesses, but also really understanding your strengths.
As a Jewish community, we are obligated to take care of each other, including the stranger, to encourage others to take action. Working together, we can reshape the broken world of today towards a brighter and safer tomorrow for the Jewish community worldwide, Israel, and all of humanity.
I'm passionate about making a difference. I worked at the Jewish Community Federation for 29 years, and there I learned teamwork, positivity. When I retired in 2019, I had nothing to do, and I was looking for a place to make a difference. I found NCJW and their programs and their people, and I hope I'm making a difference there.
I have contributed to the future home of the Kosher Food Pantry, in which this hidden gem will be able to serve the increased number of individual and families subjected to food insecurities due to government cutbacks.
Making a difference, I think, is why we're here. I was raised with the philosophy that you leave the world a little better than when you arrived in it. In my mind, it's a Venn diagram. There are three circles. There's our family, our career, and our community.
You know, for me, making a difference means leaving institutions stronger than when I found them, building things that last. Whether it's helping a kid fall in love with science or securing the future of our Jewish community's retirees, it's about making an impact that outlives us. To me, that's tikkun olam, doing our part to repair and strengthen the world.
Making a difference means to me doing what I can to make life better for others, particularly those that have been left behind or left out. I truly believe that when we have the will to make change and we work together, anything is possible.
I think it's really important to find ways to make time for impact-driven work. And I am very, very fortunate to live in a community where I've had the ability to follow in the footsteps of so many others that have been doing that. I think a lot about a concept that was introduced in Pirkei Avot. You are not commanded to finish the work, but neither are you free to ignore it. And so I see my role in the community as one of forwarding the work, doing work that is, meant for the good and the benefit of all, and trying to do what I can to be a light in this world, even in a small way. And I hope that that inspires other people to get involved as well.
Since starting at Life Act, I've had the opportunity to share my story about my mother's suicide and how it changed my life. For the first time, I've openly shared my experience with friends, colleagues, and professional contacts. I've also committed to being a member of the NAMI Local Outreach to Suicide Survivors Loss team. This team provides immediate, compassionate support to individuals and families after a suicide loss. If I can even help one family not have to go through an experience similar to mine, then I can say with certainty that this work will be the most important contribution that I could ever make in my career.
You need to be different before you can make a difference. In this situation with working on these cemeteries, let's face it, it's not exactly something people clamor to work on. So it was different. And then through doing all of the research and our eventual successes, I think then, and only then, did we make a difference.
I'm glad to make a difference by educating over 2,500 middle and high school students and over 1,000 adults in the community about the horrors of the Holocaust. But I also try to emphasize to the people that come the need for the understanding that all of our actions, no matter how great or small, have an effect on the world.
I have always found that my greatest sources of inspiration, whether they are a great teacher I've had, a mentor, or even my mom, have inspired me not by the words they say or in a classroom, but in how they live their life. The greatest lesson I could teach is that the goal in life is not to be perfect, but just to strive to be the best version of yourself. And there is a teaching by Bachya ibn Pakuda that says, our days are scrolls, write on them what you want to be remembered. So to me, that says each of our lives can be a Torah, and we can write our own story and teach others through that.
We live in a wonderful community, and so when I have an opportunity to give back and to see meaningful change be enacted in our community, it's really meaningful for me.
I had the opportunity to give a speech in September honoring National Suicide Prevention Month at Congregation Mishkan Or. My speech intertwined the impact that my mother's death had had on my life and how it eventually led me to join Life Act. The reaction and feedback from the speech has been overwhelming.
My younger self would probably remind my present self, to attain happiness, I need to say the Shema every night before I go to bed. And every morning I get up and I am grateful to God for another day.
I think I'd tell my younger self that happiness isn't all about measuring milestones. It's about measuring meaning. Focus a little less on success and a little more on purpose. I've discovered the best feeling is knowing you built something that will outlast you. Something bigger than yourself.
I would definitely tell my younger self to just stick with my gut. Happiness for me has come when I was able to look inward and meld that together by ignoring outside voices telling me this is the path that I'm supposed to be on, and really trust my gut to know, no, creativity, being authentic, being unabashedly LGBTQ+, that has always been my true path forward, and I wish I had embraced that earlier, and again, happy to be able to do it now.
Whenever you have the opportunity to make choices, you try to do the right thing, and then happiness will develop. I found my wife, Cindy. Well, she found me, I guess, and we had our children and now grandchildren, and if you just give love, you get love, try to do the right thing, and happiness will come.
The Yom HaShoah program that I have put together began with humble beginnings. There was 250 people at the first program, which began 11 years ago. And since then, it has grown into thousands and thousands of people. Out of the question, I would say I have surprised myself because I didn't know I had it in me when I started this program to have the perseverance and be willing to put in the endless hours that it takes to make this program a success that it is.
What's something people would be surprised to learn about me? I really love musicals. Seen Fiddler on the Roof, seen The Notebook, as recent as yesterday, saw Hell's Kitchen. And what's amazing to me and what I really love about musicals is how they're able to pull together these stories and the feeling and the compassion within there. How it really ties together, a lot of things that we're seeing happening in the world, in our community. And really in the end, a lot of these stories all come back to community. And that's really where my passion lies.
I don't know if many people know that in the late 70s, I lived and worked in the state of Israel, and on an Agid bus, that's the public transportation, that's where I met my wife. The rest, as they say, is history.
There's so many meaningful moments, especially the time I spent with my mentor, who was my father, who was a great man, and he taught me to always be patient with people. He, even after we had a potentially catastrophic fire loss, he found a way to be sure that we stayed in business and found a way to keep all our employees. And the other thing was his support for people that could help him and those that couldn't help him. He was always steadfast and would go out of his way to do more than they expected.
One of the most meaningful moments I've had recently was the very first Shabbat that we celebrated at Mishkan Or after the decision was made to merge. There we were, sitting as a congregation with members sitting side by side, praying together, singing together, and seeing our clergy as a united team leading us. It was really a moment, and it was a moment where I could see this is going to be good. This is going to be very, very good.
People might be surprised to learn that my mother and I were in law school at the same time. Different law schools, but at the same time. When I was in college and without a direction, she encouraged me to go to law school, and apparently she took her own advice. So this set up an interesting dynamic between us because instead of getting care packages around finals time, I had someone who I could call to explain torts or contracts or civil procedure to me, and it was great. But she ended up graduating a year ahead of me, which made her the first lawyer in our family.
Something that people may be surprised to know about is that I was born with cancer and spent a lot of time in the hospital as a baby. And because of that, we started a nonprofit called Sweet Dreams for Kids that we give new pajamas to kids in the hospital and all over the world.
A lot of people don't know that I'm a helicopter pilot, seaplane pilot, and with those skills, I used to volunteer for something called Angel Flight, where we would fly people to Cleveland or through Cleveland that cannot afford to travel for medical services.
My advice for the next generation is lead with humility. Don't put a crown on your head and look for self-accolades, but instead look how you can serve others and support community goals. It's about that and not your ego.
I'd encourage them to never forget an obligation to nonprofits and helping others, whether it's through their time, their treasure, their talent, or ties to others. Remember to help others like my father did and help the community, not just make money and be successful financially.
September 13th, 2009, the day of the dedication of the Cone Student Center, which is the Hillel House at Kent State University. As a 20-year volunteer for Hillel at Kent State University, it has been exciting to see the activities, programming, and leadership development that have been made possible by having such a warm and inviting campus home for Jewish students.
The advice that I'd give to the next generation of Jewish leaders is to rely on your Jewish values in everything you do, in your work, with your family, with your community. Find something that you are passionate about and give back to the community based upon that passion.